The State Armoury Chamber is where you will see many of the inside displays and exhibitions. This costs extra, so make sure you know what parts of the Kremlin you want to visit when paying for your tickets. First up, it's Showcase 45, secular dress in Russia from the 18th and 19th centuries. From handmade gloves to intricate earrings, the collection reveals both noteworthy aspects of Russian history as well as the development of clothing worn by Russian royalty. One of the best ways to find out information is by taking an audio guide. You can choose your language, stop, start, rewind, and skip to different items inside the exhibition. Best of all, you can take your time and be as fast or as slow as you wish. Audio guide or not, you'll be amazed at these dresses. This dress belonged to Elizabeth I and she wore it at the coronation of Peter the Great, who was her father. And it's just amazing to think that this dress is over 250 years old. And just look how wide this dress is. You'd definitely not be able to walk through any narrow doorways. Until the beginning of the 17th century, Russian people wore national costume. In the very beginning of the 18th century, Peter the Great ordered to replace traditional Russian dress with fashionable European clothing. This throne was used by a very young Peter the Great and his brother Ivan V. You can see the secret compartment behind. That's where their sister Sophia stood and gave them information and helped them with what to say. There are literally thousands of similar stories and intriguing tales regarding each exhibit. These crowns and thrones of Russian Tsars hold pride of place in the Moscow Kremlin State Armoury Museum. From the medieval crown of Monomach to the crown of Empress Anne studded with 2,500 diamonds, the crowns of Russian royalty are straight out of fairy tales. Rooms upon rooms of antiques fill the cabinets. The State Armoury presents more than 4,000 items of applied art of Russia and around the world. The cultural value of the exhibits have made the State Armoury one of the most famous museums in the world. The Diamond Fund is the most sparkling exhibition you can visit in Russia. It represents the awe-inspiring collection of gems, nuggets and jewellery from several centuries. The collection itself was established by Peter the Great in the 18th century and was vastly increased in the same century during the reign of Empress Elizaveta and Catherine the Great. Now it's the historical part of the fund, which includes the must-see of the collection, the 7 historical gems. The legendary Orlov diamond weighs almost 190 carat, and the flat diamond and large sapphire of more than 250 carat are just several highlights. And just look at this imperial crown of Russia, created for Catherine the Great. Its ruby is almost 400 carat. Fabergé jewellery and eggs were a traditional gift exchange between the Tsar and Tsarina at Easter. Here you can see the Grand Siberian Railway egg. It was created to commemorate the opening of the Moscow to Vladivostok line. You can see the gold coaches, the platinum engine and the ruby headlight. From Fabergé to armour, the collection does not stop here. The armoury began in the early 16th century as a purely functional storehouse for the Kremlin's weaponry. Centuries later, the building houses all kind of exhibits. The armour here is over 500 years old. Okay, it may protect you, but can you actually imagine how heavy it would be? All were used in war, for hunting during ceremonies and parades. Finally, we come to the royal carriages. Centuries of sledges and carriages line this room. And okay, the gold leaf has faded slightly, but you can still see how brilliant and grand they were. Amazing. Many of these transported the Tsars and their families. This one here helped Catherine the Great travel from St. Petersburg to Moscow in the snowy winter, pulled by dozens of horses. Chased with gold and decorated with scrollwork and royal emblems, these carriages are as much works of art as anything else in the museum. These are some of the oldest and rarest carriages in the world. Oh, and don't touch means don't touch. And that ends our tour of the Moscow Kremlin and Armoury Museum. A short insight into what is an amazing part of world history and Russian life past, present and future.